everybody? JT Dangerously here once again. I am here to do my official Week 1 college football predictions. Now, of course, if you may not have known, I am a huge college football fan. I'm up every Saturday morning in the month of September when it comes to when it comes to college football because, of course, it's college game day with, of course, Corso, Herbstreit, Howard, and Fowler. I mean, every Saturday morning I'm up seeing the electricity in the venues they're at at different colleges. It's so much fun to watch. It gets you hyped up for college football the whole Saturday afternoon. Of course, headgear with Lee Corso is always fun, and then the real action starts on Saturday afternoon. Of course, I'm watching games on CBS with the SEC, ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, the ACC network, and of course NBC for Notre Dame football. So when it comes to college football, I am a huge fan. And with the success of our weekly pick'ems when it comes to the NFL, I thought this year I would bring college football pick'ems to this channel. So I hope you guys do enjoy this. Of course, I will be doing this from now all the way up to the college football playoff and to the national championship. Of course, it's going to be definitely a race to become the #1 team in college football. So I hope you guys do enjoy this video and more to come. Now, of course, before I start, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching all the videos in the month of August. Of course, this is the last video we have in the month of August, so I do want to thank you guys so very much. Again, thank you guys so very much. All the videos that we got up in the month of August, thank you guys so much. You made August a very good year on the channel, and now we're going into September, and again, we're going to have a lot of videos on the channel. If you have not checked out my channel update, definitely check that out. I'll have it in the description box down below so you know what's coming up in the month of September. Now, of course, we're at now 154 subscribers strong, so I do want to thank you guys so very much for supporting the channel. Of course, if you're new subscribers, thank you guys for hitting that, super kicking that subscribe button, and welcome. And of course, to my longtime subscribers, thank you guys so very much for sticking around and supporting the channel. Now, of course, if this is your first time watching my channel, this is your first video, welcome to the Dangerous Lions. I'm, of course, JT Dangerously, and welcome to the club, because this club is just... Whoop, whoop. Again, thank you guys so very much. Now, other than that, let's get right into these predictions. Of course, these are from ESPN college football pick'ems. I'll have my picks in the description box down below so you guys can keep track on who I'm picking. Now, I'm going to start off with the first matchup featuring, of course, the Akron Zips heading to Beaver Stadium to face the #6 ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. Now, of course, the Akron Zips are coming off a 3-5 season, which, of course, not their best season. Of course, the only thing I know about Akron is that LeBron James played basketball there. That may be the only thing I know about Akron. If you're Akron football fans, again, I'm sorry, I don't know a lot about your team. So, and then on the other side, you have Penn State, the #6 ranked team in the top 25. Of course, Penn State's coming off a great year last year, going 11-3, winning the Big Ten championship, of course, and then going to the Rose Bowl last year, and maybe the second greatest Rose Bowl game I've seen in my lifetime. Of course, losing to USC by that field goal, but it was a back and forth matchup. If you have not seen it, definitely check that. Definitely go check that Rose Bowl out. It was fantastic. Now, of course, Penn State's definitely looking to repeat as Big Ten champion. Of course, being in the same division with Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, and Ohio State, it's really definitely a big-time division in the East Division of the Big Ten. So they're definitely looking to repeat as Big Ten champions. And, of course, they re-signing James Franklin, their coach. He has done a fantastic job since he's been there. And I'm so proud of this. I'm so proud of this Penn State team as a college football fan. So coming from me in this first matchup, I'm going to take the Penn State Nittany Lions to defeat the Akron Zips. And now the next matchup. Two teams are looking to rebound after their very subpar seasons last year. Featuring, of course, the Terrapins of Maryland heading to Austin to face, of course, my favorite team's heated rival, of course, the Oklahoma Sooners' hated rival, the Longhorns, the number 23 ranked Texas Longhorns. Now, of course, the Maryland Terrapins came last year. They went 6-7, of course, in the Big Ten East, same as Penn State. They did get 6 wins. They did become bowl eligible, I think, because you got to get 6 wins to be bowl eligible in the college football bowls. So the Terps, the one thing I like about the Terps, there's like 2 things I like about the Maryland Terrapins. The logo, which is a turtle, which is kind of cool, and their uniform design, which is very, very unique, and it kind of clashes with their team, which is pretty awesome. And then on the other side, you have the 23rd ranked Texas Longhorns coming after a 5-7 season last year in the Big 12 Conference. Of course, Charlie Strong, he was in. Now he's out. He's off to South Florida, USF, South Florida, the Bulls. And now we have Texas has a new coach, and they're looking to rebound because going 5-7 last year was not their best thing, and being ranked 23rd in the top 25 is saying, hey, some people actually have faith in the Longhorns this year. I mean, when you have Baylor, you have OU, you have my Sooners, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, TCU, West Virginia. The field in the Big 12 is huge this year, and Texas definitely has a chance to get back to their winning ways. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to take the 23rd ranked Texas Longhorns to defeat the Maryland Terrapins. And now the next matchup, two teams are looking to continue their winning ways in more ways than one. Of course, on one side you have the Bears of California heading to Chapel Hill, North Carolina to face the Tar Heels of North Carolina. Now, of course, the Cal Bears are coming off a very bad season, of course, going 5-7. Of course, being in the Pac-12 North with Oregon, with Oregon State, with Stanford, with Washington State. Cal is very much in the locker, like in Davy Jones's locker for sure, because really they haven't really had a winning season since Aaron Rodgers left. And look where Aaron Rodgers is now. Definitely Cal is still the rebuilding team that's just trying to just get bowl eligible every year. So, and now they're heading to Chapel Hill to face the North Carolina Tar Heels, who are coming off a pretty solid 8-5 season last year in the ACC Coastal Division. Of course, a lot of people know North Carolina for their college basketball teams, multiple national championships, but now people are realizing North Carolina football is where it's at as well. Of course, being in the same division as, of course, my favorite college basketball team, Duke, Georgia Tech, the U, Miami, of course, Pitt, Virginia Tech, and Virginia. UNC is always in the conversation in the ACC Coastal. That's maybe the easiest division to win. Again, there's at least 2 teams I think can challenge UNC this year in the Coastal. I think it's going to be the Fighting Cutcliffes of Duke and the Miami Hurricanes. I really do think the U is going to get back on track for sure. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to take the North Carolina Tar Heels to defeat the California Bears. And now the next matchup. Of course, it's another North Carolina team. Of course, it's the North Carolina State Wolfpack heading to Gamecock country to face the South Carolina Gamecocks. Now, of course, NC State is coming off a pretty solid 7-6 season. Of course, they got to a bowl last year. Of course, being in the ACC Atlantic Division of the Atlantic Coast Conference with teams like Louisville, Boston College, the reigning champ Clemson, Florida State, Syracuse, Wake Forest. North Carolina State is always the perennial upset bringers because, again, North Carolina State has had some great talents. I mean, they had Russell Wilson, and look where Russell Wilson is in Seattle. But North Carolina State is poised to be one of those teams to look out for in the ACC Atlantic for sure. And then on the other side, you have the South Carolina Gamecocks, who are coming off a pretty solid 10-3 season last year in the SEC East, of course, with the retiring Steve Spurrier, the head ball coach who has garnered South Carolina's dominance in the SEC East. Gone now. They have a new coach. It's a new scheme now. Of course, in the SEC East, it's Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky, Missouri, and Vanderbilt. So South Carolina can definitely be one of those big-time teams to look out for in the SEC East for sure. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to take the South Carolina Gamecocks to defeat the North Carolina State Wolfpack because I think look what South Carolina's basketball team did this year in the NCAA tournament. They got all the way to the Final Four. So maybe all of that success from their college basketball team will generate into their college football team and maybe get them back to the SEC championship. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking South Carolina to defeat NC State. And now the next matchup, a battle of top 15, the two of the top 15 and the top 25. Of course, on one side you have the number 11 Wolverines of Michigan heading to the Swamp to face the number 17 Florida Gators. Now, of course, this is a great ranked matchup for sure. Of course, Michigan's coming off a great year last year in the Big Ten East Division with a 10-3 record. Of course, when you got Jim Harbaugh, khakis and all, he is definitely getting back on track to make Michigan the front runners. Definitely a threat in the Big Ten East and continue the winning for Big Blue. And then on the other side, you have the Florida Gators, of course, coming off a great 9-4 season last year. I think they did get to the SEC championship. I'm taking a guess there because Alabama usually is always in the SEC championship. And I'll get to Alabama later in this video. But Florida has been good. I mean, I think I heard that they're going to have 7 players that are going to be ineligible to play. So they're coming into this match very handicapped. So look out for that for sure. So coming from me in this top 15 matchup in week 1. Oh man, this one's tough. I mean, oh man, I am going to take the Michigan Wolverines to defeat the Florida Gators. I just think Michigan is definitely looking to get back, looking to continue this great run they're having in the Big Ten with Jim Harbaugh coaching, and the 49ers are really regretting letting him go. And look where he is now. He's doing fantastic in Ann Arbor. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking Michigan to defeat the Florida Gators. And now the next matchup, two teams who are looking to definitely rebound after one had a great season, one had a terrible season. Of course, on one side you have the Temple Owls heading to South Bend to face the Fighting Irish of the Notre Dame. Now, of course, the Temple Owls are coming off a great year last year, going 10-4, getting to a pretty solid bowl last year. Definitely looking to continue success in their division. Of course, I totally forgot what division they're in, but they're in a pretty solid division, of course, but looking to continue success at 10-4 last year, continue the success this year. And then on the other side, you have the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, who are coming off maybe their worst year. They went 4-8, of course, in the Football Bowl subdivision, or the FBS. They had a terrible season. Of course, this was Brian Kelly's worst season as the Irish coach. I mean, Notre Dame, definitely, and I'm going to say it right now in this video, Brian Kelly is on the hot seat, for sure. He is absolutely on the hot seat this year for Notre Dame. He's got to win. He's going to have a winning record this season, or he's going to be gone. And again, Brian Kelly's a great coach. I watched him at Cincinnati. Look what he did with the Cincinnati Bearcats. But when he came to Notre Dame, of course, that first year was good, but last year's was just the worst. Coming from me was definitely the worst. But definitely Notre Dame fans out there are looking for wins. They're not looking to have another losing record. And honestly, Notre Dame coaches don't have losing records like this. I mean, Lou Holtz never had it. I mean, Brian Kelly has to step it up this year for Notre Dame. So coming from me in this very interesting matchup, of course, it's going to be on NBC because Notre Dame football is key on NBC. Man, this one's tough. I'm going to go with the upset here. I think Notre Dame is going to win this game. I mean, it's at South Bend. That crowd's going to be raucous, of course. They definitely need to start the season off strong, and this is the best way to do it. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm thinking for the first upset here, I am taking Notre Dame to defeat the Temple Owls. And now the next matchup, featuring two fantastic teams looking to continue their success of last year. Of course, on one side you have the Western Michigan Broncos heading to Southern California to face the number 4 ranked USC Trojans. Now, of course, the Western Michigan Broncos were they were the team to talk about last year. Of course, they ran the table in their regular season. They went 13-0. They were the Boise State. They were the what do you call it? They were the Auburn of that year, of course, with so many great great moments for Western Michigan. Of course, their former coach, P.J. Fleck, now off to Minnesota. They're looking to continue success without him. Of course, they only lost one game, and that was I think it was against Wisconsin in the Sugar Bowl, I think. I'm taking a wild guess, but Western Michigan is definitely trying to see this year that a lot of people thought that was a fluke year, going 13-1. A lot of people did not believe they're going to go 13-1 again, but definitely Western Michigan is looking to say, hey, that year was not a fluke year. This year we're going to prove we are an elite team in college football. And then on the other side, you have the number 4 ranked USC Trojans who are coming off a great year last year, going 10-3, winning the Pac-12 South, and of course winning the Rose Bowl game against Penn State. And of course, they have one player that definitely needs to be watched if you're looking to see who's going to win the Heisman, and that's their quarterback, Sam Darnold. Definitely look out for him. Look out for him because he was just throwing those lasers in that Penn State game. Sam Darnold will and definitely could be winning this year's Heisman trophy for sure. Of course, USC definitely should be winning this Pac-12 South, of course, with Arizona State. Colorado's looking to get back. They were really good last year. UCLA's looking to just be there for the sake of being there because they're not very clutch. And Utah. But I think USC definitely will win the Pac-12 South again. I do not see them winning the Pac-12 championship because I really think Washington is still a great team with Jake Browner quarterbacking them. But this is a fantastic matchup coming from me. So coming from me in this matchup, ooh man, this one's tough because they're two good teams. And I could see an upset here definitely for sure because if Western Michigan can beat USC, that just shakes the whole top 25 up big time. So coming from me in this matchup, I am going to go with the number 4 USC Trojans to win. I think USC definitely needs to win. Hey, Sam Darnold, this is your chance, kid. If you want to win the Heisman this year, you got to win every game decisively. No bullshit. You lose one game, that Heisman talk is kaput. So coming from me in this matchup, and this one's a very tough one, I'm taking the number 4 ranked USC Trojans to defeat the Western Michigan Broncos. And now the next matchup, featuring, of course, the number 16th ranked Louisville Cardinals heading to Purdue to face the Purdue Boilermakers. Now, of course, Louisville's coming off a great year last year, going 9-4 in the ACC Atlantic Division, of course, and they also had the Heisman Trophy winner, DeShawn. I forget his name. I know it was DeShawn something, but he was the Heisman Trophy winner for Louisville last year. Of course, he's looking to go back-to-back Heisman Trophy winner again. I don't see that happening. I know, DeShawn Jackson, that's his name, DeShawn Jackson. I got it back in my head. DeShawn Jackson definitely is making Louisville, other than a college, same thing with North Carolina. A lot of people know their college basketball team, of course, national championships there, but now people are realizing the Louisville Cardinals in college football are also a threat, for sure. And in that division, when you got Boston College, you got Florida State, you got NC State, you got Syracuse, you got Wake Forest, and of course, you have the reigning ACC champions and the national champions, the Clemson Tigers in that division. And I really do think Louisville is going to be a threat, for sure, to Clemson in the ACC Atlantic Division. And then on the other side, you have the Purdue Boilermakers who are coming off maybe their worst season. Of course, 3-9. Don't know a lot about Purdue. I mean, they are a good. I think Kyle Wharton went to Purdue. I think. I'm taking a wild guess there. But Purdue is definitely one of those teams that are not going to be in the race in the Big Ten West Division, but they can be a threat somewhat. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to take the number 16th ranked Louisville Cardinals to defeat the Purdue Boilermakers. And now the next matchup, maybe the biggest matchup of Week 1 for sure. A top 5 matchup featuring, of course, the number 3 seeded Florida State Seminoles heading to Tuscaloosa to face the number one team in America, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, of course, Florida State's coming off a great year last year, going 10-3. Of course, being, I think, second to Clemson. But Florida State is looking good. Of course, Ricky John Francois is back for Florida State. That definitely helps them. Of course, Jimbo Fisher's killing it there at Florida State. And that's the other team in the ACC Atlantic I think can top Clemson. It's Florida State. Louisville and Florida State are my two teams that could actually knock off Clemson in that ACC Atlantic Division. And then on the other side, you have the Alabama Crimson Tide, of course. They were in the national championship last year, of course. They, of course, did not win the national championship. Of course, they're coming in back. We got Scarborough back and Hearns back. And, of course, with Tricky Nicky, or I like to call him Tricky Nicky, Nick Saban, he is definitely looking for revenge. Of course, being in the national championship again and not winning definitely keeps Saban up at night. And definitely they're looking to rebound after last year. They went 14-1. They won the SEC West. They won the SEC championship, but they did not win the big prize, and that was the BCS. That was the College Football Playoff National Championship. So they're definitely looking for revenge. So coming from me in this fantastic top 5 matchup in Week 1. Ooh, man. And of course, the Florida State Athletic Director say we cannot wait to beat Bama's ass. So big talk, but I like the confidence. So coming from me, oh man, I gotta go with Alabama. It's at home. It's in Atlanta. I think it's not at Tuscaloosa. It's in Atlanta. So it's not like a home field crowd for Bama, but it's definitely, I just think Alabama is just a better team, and they're looking to get back to the college football playoff, and I really do think they will get back to the college football playoff. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm taking Alabama to defeat Florida State. And now the final matchup of Week 1. Of course, it is a battle of two teams who are coming off great years last year and looking to continue it this year. Of course, on one side you have the Cougars of Brigham Young University heading to Death Valley to face the number 13th ranked LSU Tigers. Now, of course, BYU is coming into this game already 1-0. They won their game a few weeks. They won their season opener last week. Of course, I can't remember who they played, but they played somebody weak as usual. But they're coming in after last year 9-4 in the Football Bowl subdivision, or the FBS. They are a fantastic team. Like, BYU's defense has been always fantastic. So look out for them in the FBS for sure. And then on the other side, you have the LSU Tigers coming in after a pretty solid 8-4 season. Of course, this is their first year without Les Miles fully, because of course they fired Les Miles during the season last year, and of course went with Ed Orgeron and he has done pretty solid for LSU last year. So he's coming into his first full year at LSU, and it's going to be Joe Tigers for sure in that building, because I've watched a lot of SEC football on CBS. When it comes to LSU football, it is loud. That place, like, the feel of that stadium is like, I'm not there personally, but when you see it on television, it's like you can feel the earth shaking because of how loud that stadium is. And that's a big time advantage for LSU for sure. Again, being in the same division with Bama and Auburn and A&M and Arkansas and Ole Miss and Mississippi State, LSU definitely is a threat to Alabama for sure in the SEC West. Again, Auburn, I think, can also be a threat. LSU, A&M's definitely looking to rebound. Kevin Sumlin's on the hot seat for sure for A&M. He has to win. So coming from me in this final matchup of Week 1, man, this one's tough. I am going to take the number 13th ranked LSU Tigers to defeat the BYU Cougars. And those are my Week 1 college football predictions. So I hope you guys did enjoy my predictions. Comment below, who do you have winning all of these matchups in Week 1? And of course, like you guys did in my NFL predictions last year and of course this year, represent your team in the comments down below. Of course, I'm an Oklahoma Sooner fan and a Boise State fan. Let me know who you guys represent in college football, like you guys did in the NFL predictions last year and this year. Represent yourself in the comments of who do you hang your hat on when it comes to college football. Of course, when I see if you comment, I'll of course hit that like button and of course reply right back to you, because comments are always welcome on this channel. Now, of course, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching, and of course, before you go, you can never forget to do this. That like button, comment, share it with your friends. Of course, super kick that like button like only you guys can. And of course, you can never forget to do this as well. That subscribe button to become part of this bigger and dangerous alliance. And I will see you on September 4th for 3 big time videos. And I hope you guys can check it out. Later days and peace.